Now we've got to step 3. So after defining the vision, after co-creating the concept with the employees, it's time for implementation. And of course, implementation has the design element and the IT equipment element. But the third pillar, remember, it's around behavior. And when it comes to working in distributed teams that can work from anywhere, anytime, some might be in the office, some home, some in a co-working space, we've identified 3 core competencies or almost cultural traits that you need to have to make sure that this is possible and this is seamless and this is actually meaningful as opposed to something that employees feel that they have to deal with. These 3 elements are creating trust or strengthening trust within the teams. Second one is around clarity, because clarity helps people when we're in these complex situations, when people work from anywhere, everywhere, there is complexity added to just the normal work, right? So clarity helps a lot in clarifying that complexity, in giving an indication of roles, responsibilities, results expected, but also what role does the leader play? You know, you can also clarify what you as a manager plan to mean for the team. Are you going to be the decision maker? Are you going to be the facilitator? Are you going to be the person that finds resources for the team to be able to do their work? So clarity in a broader scope is very, very important. Then the third element is around embedding or adopting an outcomes-focused way of looking at the world of work. It shouldn't matter that you see me in the office 10 hours a day and then you believe that I'm really working. It should matter that I'm able to deliver on what we have committed that I should deliver. And then it doesn't matter if it takes me 10 hours, 12 hours, or 3 hours to do that work. So I think it's a big shift that a lot of companies have been able to do and to make because of the situation with COVID, where people have realized, oh, my people and my teams actually continue to work and be productive, even when I don't see them long hours in the office every day of the week. And I think that this is, the silver lining behind the COVID crisis. It's the fact that we have been starting to believe that our people can be trusted to work even when we don't see them. Now the fourth step is around evolving it, right? I'm sure you're all familiar with design thinking. Once you create a concept, once you start implementing it, it's also around evolving it in time to make sure that it stays relevant. You might have a shift in activities, you might have a shift in priorities, you might get information as you're starting to on this new journey from your employees. Some might want to be more often in the office, some might want to be more often from home. Some are choosing to do other activities from the office that they were not doing there before. So the concept needs to be continuously evolved. The one thing that I get asked a lot of times is like, how do we measure the success of transitioning to a new way of working? What's the one productivity measure? And to be honest, there is no one productivity measure. Productivity for a consulting company will be totally different than productivity for a manufacturing company. Productivity for a HR department looks totally different than the productivity of a sales department. So I wouldn't say that there is one measure for productivity, but I do think it's very important that from phase 1 or 2 onwards, you identify KPIs that then allow you to measure how much you have succeeded in your journey to embrace a new way of working. Going back to the example, if you say that, as an example, your company, you want to become more innovative, and that's why you want to work in an activity-based working way, okay, what is your current measure for innovation? Identify that, and then I continue to measure that over time. Is it number of new products that you launch? Is it number of bestsellers in the market? Is it being able to be first company that launches a new innovation or a new product? How do you define innovation? That, I think, is a much more relevant KPI, which is very aligned to your aspiration. So we've been speaking now about the 4 steps that I suggest all the companies to consider taking before you decide and you finalize your concept about new ways of working. One is really define the why, the vision. What are you trying to achieve with this new way of working? Second is co-creating it with your employees, very early stage. Don't wait to tell your employees what's going to happen to them. Work with them from early on. Third is, of course, implement, but think of the behavior component and change management much more, or in at least equal measure, as you think about the physical environment and the IT tools. And fourth is around making sure you've got the right measures in place, evolve the concept, and again, recreate it and continue to create it together with your employees.